True Horror Hitchhiker Story. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting eerie shadows on the desolate highway, Sarah found herself alone on an empty stretch of road. Her car's engine had sputtered to a halt, leaving her stranded in the darkness. Panic gnawed at her as she glanced around the lifeless landscape. With trembling hands, Sarah reached for her phone. No signal. She felt a shiver crawl up her spine. Her only option was to hitchhike, a choice she had always been warned against. But desperation clouded her judgment. Minutes turned into an eternity before a rusty pickup truck pulled up. The driver, a middle-aged man with a scruffy beard, flashed a toothy grin. His name, he claimed, was Jack. "Need a ride, miss?" he asked, his eyes unsettlingly fixated on her. Reluctantly, Sarah got in, her heart pounding like a drum. As they drove in silence, she noticed an odd logo on the dashboard: Hitchhiker. It seemed out of place, but she brushed it off, attributing it to some quirky decal. The road grew darker, and Sarah's unease deepened. She attempted to strike up a conversation, but Jack's responses were curt and evasive. Her instincts screamed danger. Suddenly, the truck veered off onto a narrow, isolated road. Panic set in as Sarah realized they were far from any civilization. She demanded he stop the truck, but Jack's demeanor shifted, his grin twisting into a menacing sneer. "Welcome to my world, Sarah," he hissed. Terror coursed through her veins as she realized the truth. She had unwittingly climbed into the clutches of the infamous hitchhiker, a serial killer who preyed on vulnerable travelers. Desperation turned to survival instinct as Sarah fought back, clawing at the door handle. In a desperate struggle, she managed to fling the door open and tumble out of the speeding truck, narrowly avoiding the hitchhiker's grasp. Bruised and shaken, she stumbled into the darkness, praying for help to arrive. The authorities eventually caught the hitchhiker, but Sarah's chilling encounter haunted her forever. She had narrowly escaped becoming another victim of the highway's darkest legend. David had always been an adventurous spirit. Hitchhiking across the country, he believed in the goodness of strangers and the serendipity of the open road. But one fateful evening, his trust would lead him down a dark and terrifying path. As the sun dipped below the horizon, David stood by the roadside, thumb out, waiting for a ride. A nondescript sedan pulled up, and the driver, a man in his 40s with a friendly smile, offered him a lift. David hopped in, relieved to have found a ride. They exchanged pleasantries, and the driver introduced himself as Mark. He seemed polite and engaging, which put David at ease. But as they continued down the desolate highway, Mark's demeanor shifted. His questions grew invasive, prying into David's personal life with unsettling persistence. David's unease deepened when Mark ignored his request to stop at a gas station. Instead, they veered onto a remote dirt road. Panic surged through David as he realized he was trapped in the car with a stranger who was clearly unhinged. With trembling hands, David discreetly dialed 911 on his phone, hoping against hope for help. The dispatcher picked up, and David whispered his situation, providing their location. Just as Mark's intentions became chillingly clear, sirens wailed in the distance. A police car pulled up behind them, lights flashing. Mark's face twisted with anger and fear as he was ordered out of the car at gunpoint. It turned out that Mark was a wanted fugitive with a history of violent crimes. David's quick thinking and the timely arrival of the police had saved him from a harrowing fate. Though David's belief in the kindness of strangers had been shattered, he knew he owed his life to the vigilant law enforcement officers who had come to his rescue. From that day on, he would never hitchhike again, forever haunted by the memory of the sinister stranger named Mark. Please like, share, and subscribe.